Kelly. For a couple of episodes, Megan's not going to be with us.
Oh, no.
So today we have a special guest with us. It's Amrit. I know you guys, I've talked about him before, so you guys have heard him get brought up once or twice. So he's
made
here.
A couple episodes where you've talked about him.
Your birthday. We talked about your birthday.
And then somebody talked about me last week. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm trending now. So I really popped up on the podcast. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Thank you for coming, Amrit. So, in honor of every other guest we've had, so just Jordan,
Dun, dun, dun.
since we did a questionnaire so they could get to know us, we're going to rapid fire you a couple of questions.
Bring on the heat.
Okay, do you want to take turns? I got it up too.
Yeah.
All right, you can go first.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
It's Pulp Fiction, and it was released in 1994. And it just story plot of the movie, it goes back and forth, and then there's these four characters, and it just wraps up so smoothly. You have to check it out. I have a burnt copy. It might still be on Netflix.
Oh, really? I've never seen it. What's it about?
I haven't seen it either.
Just said what it was about.
No, you didn't. You just said that it's about these four people and it wraps up so nicely, though.
And it goes back and forth, like future to present,
Yeah,
right?
so
Or
there's
past to present.
there's four different stories, and they all intertwine with each other by the end of the movie. So like it's four different story plots, and then they all intertwine.
Do you know during
No,
that they intertwine?
well, they start intertwining at
Yeah.
parts of the movie, and there's this joke. These two people are going out on a date, and the girl says, "Hey, what did the tomato say to the ketchup? Or what did the tomato say to the other tomato?"
Catch up.
Yeah.
Good one.
Classic. Okay, Amrit, next one.
Yes, ma'am.
If you were a superhero, what would your powers be?
It would have to be teleport.
I think I would do mind reading.
Yeah, see there, I don't know.
I think so, that would be a good one, but I think so then I would just be like, oh shit. Just reading everybody's mind and thought, and then just go into my own space.
Oh, yeah.
With teleporting, I can just go, boop, I'm home.
Boop. Autopilot.
Autopilot.
Okay, what's your favorite beer?
I really don't like beer.
This is Amrit's thing. He always tries to get new beer. Like, he's always trying different beer. But he never likes any of them, and he just keeps doing it. How many
like
times has
any
he done
beer?
that?
I really don't like beer.
Heineken. You went on a Heineken kick for a little bit.
Yeah,
didn't
but
you?
then that started giving me hangovers. Like, even if I had one or two, I would have
Ugh.
a major hangover. So I stopped that. Corona's pretty standard, but, you know, COVID-19, so they stopped selling Corona.
So what about your favorite wine?
Oh, we're actually going to try my favorite wine today.
Oh, yes. I knew that was
Okay, so what's your favorite, like, cocktail then?
Jack and Coke,
classic.
minus the Coke.
Pretty
Straight up
much.
Jack.
Pretty much. What's your favorite hobby?
Playing video games.
What's your favorite video game?
Favorite video game? It would probably have to be the God of War series. It's PlayStation exclusive. And, yeah, Call of Duty's standard of the road, but they come out with a new Call of Duty every year, so,
Hard to keep up.
yeah.
What's your favorite snack?
I'm not a big snacker. Yeah, I really, man, go-to snack. Nah, I fucking hate popcorn.
Chips
It
and
gets-
salsa?
Nope. No.
You
no.
always bring chips and salsa here. That's why I said
Well,
that.
Because, like, you guys told me, oh, just bring chips and ice cream, but that's not a snack.
What?
That's
It's
a
a snack.
dessert.
Well, we can say it's a snack.
Okay, yeah.
What kind of ice cream?
Coffee ice cream's pretty good, but the one that I really like, I'm still trying to find. It's like a layered ice cream. So it's got coffee in it. It's got a white shell, vanilla, white
Oh.
chocolate. Then it's got chocolate, white ice cream, or vanilla ice cream. So it's got a couple of different flavors. I just can't find it right now.
Okay, well,
That
we get
sounds-
the gist of it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Hell
But when you can find it, can you send it to me?
Yeah, because I want
Yes.
to try it. Where do you get it?
I usually get it at Kroger's. They sell it at Myers. They sell it everywhere.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But
Is
it
it
just
that brand
comes
that
in-
starts with an H that's like hard to pronounce?
Yeah, it's just a little pint.
Yeah, that one. Haagen-Dazs?
Haagen-Dazs.
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 Okay, next question. If you could be from any decade, which would it be?
Decade, man. I would probably have to go from the early 80s to 90s, somewhere around there.
Late
So the
80s?
decade you are from?
No. So, like, I want to be... So, okay, let's go from the early 70s that I
Okay.
could enjoy the 80s and the 90s.
Okay,
And then the 2000s.
Like
so
you wish you were like
this age in the 90s.
Oh,
Okay.
in the 90s or in the 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s
Early
into the
90s.
90s. Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. I feel that. What song do you know every word to?
None.
I don't believe you.
I do.
You don't
How many
know
times has
words?
Amber put up a Snapchat and he doesn't know the words?
I don't know.
That's true.
Okay, so there was one time I was in Hawaii.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
On the
I've
boat.
heard this
On the
story.
boat.
On the boat. So like, it was you and a couple other people that hit me up like, bro, at least know the words to the song.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn, I'm lit. That's all I know. I'm just having a good time. People trying to ruin my high.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was fun.
See? I really don't know any words to. I probably know a couple of lyrics here and there, but not the whole track. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite song right now?
The most recent song that I downloaded on Apple iTunes.
What's that? Let's look that up too.
Let's look that up too. Oh, it's called Winning by T Grizzy.
If the police raided your house right now,
Oh my gosh.
what would be the most incriminating thing they'd find?
Probably my gun, but it's
But
registered.
that's, yeah, I would say that's not illegal.
No, man, I live with my parents. There's
I didn't
nothing
wanna
in
say it, but I was waiting.
There's nothing illegal at my house.
That's fair.
Probably some seasonings that my mom brought overseas.
Oh my god. Oh, this is funny.
Okay, what's your favorite board game or card game?
Spades.
I don't even know how to play spades.
I don't either. How do you play spades?
It's like euchre.
I don't know how to play euchre.
I love euchre.
Yeah, basically there's 13 cards. Spades are the highest. They trump everything, and you have a partner, and you go back and forth.
Mhm.
You can't play spades until the seal is broken, I guess. I don't know what the right word would be, but like...
Like alcohol wise?
No, like...
My first thought.
Not the... Man. Where's Jordan when you need him?
Phone a friend.
I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
It does sound like euchre though. Like I know the gist of euchre, I just don't know how to play it. But it does sound like the gist of it. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Right now or in better times?
Whenever.
In better times, if, COVID wasn't going on and all that.
And you were rich and could go wherever.
Yeah.
I would probably go to Australia or somewhere around there. Right now, if I had the choice, I'd go to Canada. They got free health insurance.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
All right.
Okay, your last question.
Which is your favorite McGill sister?
Oh, that's easy. That would have to be Sunny.
I knew he was
But
gonna say that.
Why would you leave Jordan out? Or not Jordan, John out.
Well,
Because
which
it's the
is your
sisters that do the
yeah.
podcast.
Okay.
Which is your favorite McGill sibling then?
Oh, it would have to be John. Because you can't leave him
Rude.
out.
I'm just kidding.
Because you can't leave them out.
Fair enough.
You hear that, John? You heard it here first.
Yes.
What?
Okay, so now we all know Amber a little bit more. And on that note, we're now going to crack into his favorite wine.
Ooh.
So, Amelia, would you like to do the honors?
Oh, okay. Roscato. Rosso Dulce. Sweet red.
You know
Probably
it.
Dolce.
I don't know, probably. Northern Italy provides a spectacular backdrop for Roscato, a violet-hued red with aromatic notes of cherry. Yep. Blackberry and red raspberry. A touch of sweetness underlies the appeal of this charming wine. This fruit-forward red complements barbecue dishes, pasta in red and cream sauces, breaded cutlets, and spicier fare. Enjoy chilled.
I got ice, don't worry. That was a good one.
You can pour. Why is it
Oh
doing
my gosh!
that? Why is it bubbling?
It is.
Oh God! What is going on?
It's like a champagne.
I didn't know. I wasn't expecting
But I didn't
that.
expect it to.
It's never done that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh no!
So the wine is carbonated,
Wasn't expecting that.
and it went everywhere.
Okay, let's get back to it. It is really fizzy. Cheers. Say cheers.
Cheers. Sorry, guys. This is my first time on a podcast.
Why does your voice change?
So do you like it, Amelia?
Ooh.
I do really like it. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is a sweet red. It is really good chilled.
Yes,
I like it. I like it.
I do really like this one.
Me too. Now that we have uncorked the wine, are you guys ready to uncork the crime?
Yes. That was so dramatic. It was beautiful.
Yes, I'm ready.
Today we're going to talk about the story of the disappearance of Bryce Laspisa. Laspisa?
I've never heard of it. What? How do you spell it?
Laspisa.
I don't know.
Laspisa?
I don't think I've heard of it. What's his name? Bryce?
Mhm.
Nope, never heard of it. Have
Okay.
you heard of it?
No, English is my second language, so I don't know how to pronounce it either.
He's American. Oh, second language. I heard you.
Exactly. That's the point.
I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. So, Bryce was born April 30th, 1994,
Oh.
to Karen and Michael.
Mhm.
They had no other kids, so Bryce was the only child with red hair and blue eyes. So there's him and his
What?
family.
He does look just like his dad, though. But weird that he has red hair and nobody else does. Because it's like bright red. Not
Mhm.
even like a burnt red. It's like a
Orange.
bright orange, yeah.
Yes. So he graduated from Naperville High School in Illinois in 2012. Nothing much has come out from his family life, but it's always been assumed that like he had a normal, good life. Like his parents took care of him. Like it was a good family. Nothing
Right.
bad.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, just a normal, nice childhood.
Okay.
In 2013, Karen and Michael, his parents, moved to Laguna Niguel in California. Bryce was 19 and at the time moved to Chico to go to school at Sierra College.
Where's Chico? In California?
California.
Too? Okay.
So he went there for his sophomore year. He did well in school, seemed like he lived a good, normal life, and he had a girlfriend who he was said to have adored.
But he didn't live with his parents?
He moved to college to go to, like, I don't know if it's
He lived
necessarily
in
a
the college
dorm
town
or
or something? Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
He moved to go to college. His parents moved to Laguna. So here's him and his girlfriend.
Dang, how'd he pull
She
her?
looks older. She looks
I think he
older.
looks young.
Okay. But she
Do
still
you know
looks
her
older.
age?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the same age, but I don't have that written down
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know her social security number?
Didn't get that. Okay, so now we're going to start the story of, that's just a little background. Now we're going to start the timeline.
Okay.
August 26, 2013. Bryce and his mom talked on the phone, which they did frequently. Said that he seemed happy, nothing was out of the ordinary, everything seemed fine. A picture of Bryce was taken later that day. I don't know who took it or what picture it was because I tried Googling like specifically like picture of this day and I can't find what picture it is. But
There's like a picture on his camera roll with that date or something.
I don't know. I mean, it could have been uploaded to social media or something.
But it was definitely of him.
Yes.
Okay.
It said he looked happy, normal, like nothing was weird.
Okay.
Okay, so the next day, August 27th. So this is the day before the new semester was to start for Bryce. His girlfriend said on this day she noticed an odd change in Bryce and was concerned. It wasn't that clear what made her concerned. She said that he had told her he took some ADHD pill.
Mm-hmm.
Adderall?
It wasn't Adderall. It was I'm gonna totally butcher this. Yavansi, but it's like an Adderall. It's like the same thing.
Right.
But he was not prescribed to any meds at all, especially of that sort. So Bryce's roommate, Sean, it came out later that he had taken it so he could stay up all night and play video games.
Sean did, or
Sean said Bryce took it so that he could stay up all night to play video games. But like, you're starting at a new college the next day. Should you be staying up all night playing video games?
right?
I wouldn't do that. I'm a big gamer, and I would not do that at all.
Right.
Like, bro, that's common sense.
Yes. So he took medicine to stay up.
Okay.
His roommate also said that Bryce had been drinking heavily throughout the day. And then later on, it came out that Bryce was known to drink like an entire bottle of alcohol every weekend. But
What
And in-
size bottle?
I mean, even
Right.
if it was a fifth, I could easily drink a fifth in a whole weekend.
That's
I thought you said a whole day.
No, it says an entire bottle of alcohol every weekend.
Oh,
So,
that
like,
ain't
yeah.
shit.
Right, that's not that much. Especially in college. That's like
I mean, it's a lot for every weekend, but it's not like an excessive amount. I was expecting him to say like a fifth a day.
right.
That would be excessive.
But like I feel like in college that's completely normal. Like how many times
Yeah.
did we drink a bottle a night?
I've seen you guys drink a couple of bottles a night.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's normal in college. I
Yeah,
feel like
I
you
think
gotta
that's-
get it out.
Yeah, not very abnormal at all. So apparently on this day, Bryce also started giving away some of his personal belongings to his friends. He gave a pair of diamond earrings that had been a gift from his mother and gave away his Xbox.
Oh, but he's a gamer,
Right. I mean, he stayed up all night to play.
and then
And
gave
now
it
he's-
away.
Mm-hmm. So the next day, August 28th, Bryce's friends and his girlfriend were getting very concerned at this point, to where Sean called Bryce's mom and told him told her he was concerned. Said he was acting out of character the night before he broke up with Kim over a text message saying she would be better off without him. And Bryce had told Sean that something was bothering him, but he couldn't explain it. And he just kept saying something was wrong. So at this point, Sean called his mom and was like, something's really wrong with Bryce. But
Oh
like,
no.
yeah. So,
Oh, no.
so later that night, Bryce called his mom himself to tell her that like he was fine and everyone was overreacting. He ended up going back to Kim's house, even though they had just broken up. And she got on the phone with his mom and said something was wrong with Bryce. He wasn't acting like himself, seemed agitated, and he kept reiterating that they were broken up. So she was like, something's wrong with him. I don't think he should be driving. Like, I don't know what to do.
Well, Andy said he was like obsessed with her, not obsessed, but you know what I mean.
Like, adored her.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they were like in love.
I mean, adoring your spouse is a good thing. But
Mhm.
I'm thinking it's something to do with the pills that he took or something, and it reacted to him wrong. And it wasn't really the V pill that you said.
Right. Or I was thinking too, like he's starting at a new college. Like you're young, probably like
Well,
wants
he's
to be
also
single.
mixing. He's drinking and taking those pills, and he's probably got some anxiety about starting.
Right.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Mixing them pills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just wait, it
liquor.
gets weirder. So Bryce's mom offered to come to him the next day, and he said, "I do have a lot I want to talk to you about, but to not come, and like I'll call you tomorrow." And so he wouldn't specify what he wanted to talk about, but she said, "Okay, I'm not gonna go." So the mom got back on the phone with the girlfriend and said, give Bryce his keys back, but only if he promises to call me in the morning. Which I feel like that's, I don't know. But I guess if you're not thinking it's that serious. So around 11:30 that night, Bryce left Kim's house.
Oh, so Bryce was at Kim's house when he talked to his mom and all that?
Yeah, because Kim ended up getting on the phone, the girlfriend, and was like, I don't think he should leave. He's not acting right. I don't think he should be driving. And that's when the mom was like, I can come. And he was like, no, don't come. I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
So then she got back on the phone with the girlfriend and said, give him his keys, but only if he promises to call me. And he said, okay, I'll call you. That was at 11:30 at night. So now we're on to August 29th, 1 a.m. So a couple hours later.
Wait, so did he leave and he drove himself?
I'm about to tell you what happened.
Oh, my bad.
So it was around 1 a.m. The parents' home phone started ringing, but neither the mom or dad got to it in time. And the mom assumed
No.
the mom assumed it was Bryce calling to say he had gotten home from his girlfriend's because she didn't live in the same town.
Right.
So it would have been like an hour drive or so if you stop, whatever. So about 1 o'clock would have been him getting back to his apartment.
Right.
So she went back to bed and was like, I'll just call him in the morning. No big deal. Phone records later that were pulled showed that this call from Bryce was made from an hour away from his apartment in like an isolated area.
Which way? Is it like towards Kim's house or is it?
You're about to find out.
Okay.
We're
Ooh.
jumping the gun.
All right.
Okay, so now we're in the morning of August 29th. So now we're at 11 a.m. the next day
11 a.m.
in the morning.
12 hours before.
Like, he called at 1 a.m. They assumed saying he was back to his apartment
And now it's 11
in the morning. In the morning.
So his mom didn't call him?
Well, she probably thought he was sleeping. Or in school, in class.
I wouldn't have waited until 11 a.m.
Well, Bryce called his parents at 11 and left a voicemail saying that he had to use the roadside assistance around 9 a.m. that morning. Said he had run out of gas somewhere west of Bakersfield, which is 350 miles away from his apartment.
Is that on the way from Kim's apartment?
Well, it's not on the way to Kim's. She was only like 65 miles away. But where he was like closer to his parents, so she was like, oh, he was just on his way here.
Oh, okay.
Because like when his mom was going to come down, she was going to fly. Like she was far enough to where a flight would have been quicker.
Oh.
So he was about 300 miles from his apartment, but it was towards their house. So they were like, okay, he must have just been coming home. So a man named Christian from Castro Tire and Gas saw Bryce on the side, or when he called the assistants, he was the one that brought them the gas so they could put it in the car. He brought about 3 gallons of gas, and Bryce used his parents' credit card to pay him $20. So there were other credit card charges throughout this morning that were around the same town, which again, like wasn't far from his parents. So they were just like, okay, he stopped for like some chips or something,
right.
like whatever. So
is that your favorite snack?
Chips?
Yeah.
It depends. I feel like I'm that person that on road trips gets Funyuns.
Oh, I get
Everyone hates the
corn
smell.
nuts, ranch corn nuts.
I can smell them.
I didn't have them today.
can
It's the
smell
onions
them.
you smell from my conies. Okay, go on.
Okay, so at this point, it's been 2 hours since that voicemail. So the parents called the gas station place and asked the man who had helped Bryce earlier to go back to where he was when he took him the gas and check like if he's still there, if he's gone, because Bryce was not answering his parents' phone calls. So the Christian guy went back, found Bryce sitting in the same exact spot, hadn't moved at all.
Was he still in the car?
Yeah, so he asked Bryce what he was doing, and all Bryce said was nothing.
Like he said he's doing nothing?
He
or
just
didn't
said
answer?
nothing.
Oh.
He just said the word nothing. So Christian said like he seemed fine other than like the weird response, and his eyes were a little red, but at that point he'd been like up all night. They're
Right.
assuming it's like maybe he was just tired.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, all right, like you should probably call your parents and like get home. So Christian went back to work. Hour and a half later, 12:30. Karen, Bryce's mom, finally got a hold of him. He said he was on his way to their house and should be there around 3 p.m. Hours passed. Bryce still had not showed up. So like now his parents are like really freaking out. Like, what is he doing? So they call the gas station place again. And they're like, can you go check one more time? Christian went back, sitting in the same spot.
I mean, that's all you have to go off. She's lucky that she could call that
Yeah.
gas station
And
person. Like, that's
But
crazy.
he's been sitting there for like
yeah,
3
what the
hours,
hell's
3.5
he
hours just
doing?
sitting there.
It's crazy and not doing nothing, just sitting still.
Yeah. So again, he was like, are you really okay? Like, you need to go home. And he kept saying, like, I'm going. I'm just chilling. Like, whatever he was saying. I don't know.
He sounds stoned.
I think he sounds... I think it's worse than stone. It's at this point, your high would be wearing off.
That's true.
Like
It's been
he must
hours.
be high off like a high mushrooms. So like he's tripping and he just doesn't want to drive, or he's scared to go home and face his parents for some reason.
Yeah.
Why
that
wouldn't
could
he
be.
just go back to his apartment then?
Because he knew he had to go. Maybe he was like coming out and he was scared what his parents were going to think. That's why he broke up with his girlfriend. Like coming out of the closet. Maybe he was going to go tell his parents he was gay, and that's why he broke up with his girlfriend. And he was just nervous.
Yeah, maybe he likes Sean.
What
His
makes you
roommate.
think that? Do you know something we don't?
No,
Oh.
I'm just like, now I'm just speculating off of what you guys are saying.
Okay.
No, but like he said, maybe he was just scared to go home to talk to his parents, and like, what else would you be scared to tell them unless you killed someone?
Well, then I would just go to my apartment. I'd be like, I'm not coming.
But you already told them, like, I have something I need to talk about you, or need to talk to you guys about, and like everyone's calling saying he's acting weird. Your parents are gonna show up if you don't go home.
True.
Right. She's already threatened to
Mhm.
fly overnight.
Right. So now Bryce has stopped answering all of the phone calls. Now it is 9 p.m. Which I would have started driving. Like,
yes, most definitely.
I would have started driving at like 12:30 when he was sitting in the same spot for hours. I would have started driving towards him as a parent.
Yeah, same.
Well, it's 9 p.m. So now they're freaking out, which rightfully so. So they call the California Highway Patrol to go find Bryce and check on him. They find him still sitting in his vehicle in the same spot. Searched his car, found nothing. Did a sobriety test, nothing. Like, no drugs, no alcohol, nothing. So the police told him, like, you need to call your parents and you need to go home. But Bryce was refusing to call his parents. So they ended up calling Bryce's parents and made him talk to his mom. Karen asked him what he was doing, and he responded by saying, I'm going to hang out with my friends a little later. Like,
So where was the girlfriend?
at home.
They broke up.
Why didn't at least the parents call the girlfriend and be like, can you go talk to him and try and get him to come home or whatever?
Maybe she didn't have a car. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
She never
That's
gets brought
weird.
back up, really. So, like, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, unless she
really?
was pissed. Like, he just broke up with me. Like, not my problem.
Yeah, but she clearly knew something was wrong with
Yeah.
him.
Especially since they adored each other.
Right. I don't know. She never really, like, it never really says, like, what she was doing during all this. Police couldn't do much more because technically he's a legal adult. There was no drugs or alcohol in the car. Like, they couldn't stop him for anything. There's nothing they could do. So they, you know, you need to go home, went on their way. 11 p.m. Bryce finally moved, went to a gas station and bought a drink. Called his mom and said he was on the highway, but he couldn't see any signs telling him exactly where he was at. Which I could so see myself. If it's dark out, like, I don't know, Mom, I'm on the highway. I have no idea where I'm at.
Yeah, also, but he didn't eat or drink for more than 24 hours.
Yeah. Well,
That was the first drink he had?
I mean, that we know of. I mean, unless he walked somewhere in
didn't
those
even think
hours,
about
I
that.
guess.
Yeah.
So, some point later in the night, he stopped and got about $40 worth of gas. He tried to call roadside assistance again and was still in the same area. So, like, when he told his mom he was on the highway, he couldn't have been or went back.
Why did he call roadside assistance again?
I don't know.
Yeah, because he just got gas.
Right. So they showed up and, like, he didn't need anything. So they followed him to the highway to make sure, because at this point they know what's going on. Like, you called earlier and, like,
Right.
so they followed him to the highway to make sure, like, he actually got on the highway this time. It was, like, headed in the right direction to home.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, if he was going home, he should have got to his parents around 3:30 in the morning. I had a side note. At this point, he had been in this town for 13 hours for no reason as to why, doing nothing, just, like, essentially sitting in his car for 13 hours.
Like, I don't even have the patience to do that.
Right.
This is like an all day thing. Because the next thing, we're now at 2 a.m. that next
Right.
day, but that morning. 2 o'clock. Bryce calls his mom, said he had gotten off the highway to take a break, but had gotten back on and was on his way back home again.
Probably a lie.
10 minutes later,
Most definitely.
Bryce called his mom again and goes, I got off the highway in a suburban area. I'm going to park and sleep for a little bit because I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen at this point was like, it's probably a better idea than driving, so she didn't fight him. Get in your fucking car and go.
Why is she, like, not that concerned, but concerned, like, enough to call other people and check on him? Like, if that's your son, I'd be in my car 13 hours ago.
Like, it's been 24 hours. He's just been, like,
Right.
not
Lollygagging.
answering your phone calls. Yeah. Like,
Bro.
I don't know why you're not doing something about it. So now it's 8 a.m. the next morning. California Highway Police show up at the parents' house and ask them, do you own a 2003 beige Toyota Highlander? They said, yes, that was the same make and model that Bryce was driving. The Toyota was found between 4 and 5 a.m. on its side at the bottom of a 25-foot embankment
Damn.
off an access road at Castaic Lake, which is about 2 hours from his parents' house.
So he was.
Right. So that means
At
when he
one
said he
point,
was
he
going
was
to
on his
sleep,
way.
he wasn't. He had to have kept driving.
Was he trying to surprise him?
No.
Not a very good surprise.
Yeah.
No, I mean, was he trying to surprise?
In the middle of the night?
True. But I just was trying to think why.
Yeah.
Why else would he say I'm gonna stop and sleep if he wasn't gonna stop and sleep?
I mean, why was he saying any of the things he
Yeah,
was saying throughout the
seriously.
day? So they found the car. The back window had been smashed out. There was blood on the passenger headrest and on the back seat. His laptop, cell phone, and wallet were all inside the car. There was also a duffel bag with his clothes in it, which was unzipped. So, like, police assumed either him or someone took something out of the bag before they left because Bryce's body was not there.
What?
Yeah, no, the car was empty. Just the car was found.
What?
Yeah, you left that part out.
Yeah.
No, the car was empty. So he had to have wrecked while he was in the car, couldn't get out of the driver's side, So he busted out the back window to get out, popped the trunk, grabbed whatever he wanted out of his duffel bag, and left. That's a theory.
You think that? Okay.
So the police were able to obtain CCTV footage. And I tried looking this up, even like for pictures, and I can't find anything.
Really?
Yeah, which annoyed me. So it showed Bryce making 3 different trips between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. where the vehicle was spot.
What do
So
you
like
mean,
he
by
drove,
foot?
no, like the car. At 2:15, the car was seen driving there, which would have been right after he called his mom and said, I'm stopping and going to sleep, because that was like 2:10. He said, I'm
Right.
going to park and go to sleep. 2:15, 90 miles from where he said he was, the car is driving by. At 4:30, the car was seen driving along the same road. I don't know what time the other one was, because I said it was about 3 times.
Do they know anybody that lives in that area?
No, not that I know of, not that it's ever said.
No.
So tracks were found at the very top of the embankment that led down towards the lake. It was determined Bryce drove down the embankment at high speeds and never hit the brakes. Investigators and police assume it was attempting to commit suicide by driving into the lake. Because like that road he was found on, there was a lake right there. So they're guessing he was like trying to drive like off that cliff up above into the lake. And like obviously it did
Right.
not work like he planned. So searches started right away, because obviously where the hell is Bryce now?
I was
Missing body.
expecting his body to be in the car. Like I didn't think.
Well, I started the story by saying the disappearance of Bryce, so I thought,
Oh well, I forgot that.
yes. So they started searching the surrounding areas, and they searched the lake. No luck. Flyers were posted, trails were hiked in search, helicopters were used, bloodhounds. The dogs caught his scent, led the searchers to a truck stop, and the scent ended there, which if he hopped in a car and left, obviously there'd be no trace of him from there.
Is it Kim?
No.
Or is it Kim's his girlfriend, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend.
It's Sean. It's his roommate.
No, from what I read on this, like Sean seems like a good person. Like he called his mom, was like something's wrong with him.
Yeah, to cover it up.
Maybe, I don't know. Searches continued for 3 weeks, but no leads or signs of Bryce were found, and the search was called off. There were some volunteers who periodically would go search areas and whatnot, but
Right.
so it later came out that the night Bryce left his apartment, he had texted Sean, his roommate, said, I love you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, bro. Seriously, you're the best person I've ever met, and you saved my soul.
Aw.
Sean said he never got the impression that Bryce wanted to die or kill himself, and that he didn't plan, like Bryce didn't plan on not ever coming back to their apartment. Like he assumed when he left, he was coming back.
Right.
To this day, Bryce has still not been found, and no one knows what happened.
Oh my god.
The latest update on the case, the October 26th of 2019, there were remains found in Santa Clarita, which was like the area, but the remains at this point, and I tried looking it up, I still didn't see anything, had not been identified, but the preliminary reports indicate an older man. So
So probably not him.
no. So now it's our favorite part, the theories.
Ooh.
This one only has 4, so it's not a lot. So the first one was a psychotic breakdown and or head injury. So the parents hired a PI, obviously, when it happened. Denise Savastano, something like that. Denise believes Bryce planned on returning home, but at some point in the day had a psychotic break due to the drug use.
Mm-hmm.
And or then suffered a head injury after crashing his vehicle, became disoriented, and like wandered off.
But how has he never been found? If he just wandered off and like I don't understand. Like, do they think he started a new life, or like
I mean,
do
he
they
left
think
everything behind.
he ended up dying from this head injury? Because if he ended up dying from this head injury, like he would have been found.
Yeah.
Well,
Like he wouldn't have
obviously,
been
yeah.
like hidden or something.
No,
you know?
yeah. I mean, they searched everywhere. Like, yeah, if he would have
Right.
died from
He
it,
wouldn't
he
have
would have
gotten
been found.
too far if he had a
Mm-mm.
head
No.
injury.
Now, if he has a head injury that like he doesn't know that he has, you know, like it's like in his brain or something, he could have like literally started a new life.
Yeah, but still, like, someone had to have. I mean, he had nothing. I mean, where do you start? You'd
Well,
have to go to a
what did he take
hospital.
out of his bag?
But he didn't have his cell phone, his wallet, nothing. A
Yeah.
sweatshirt, maybe?
Because he's
I
starting a
don't
new life. He didn't want nothing. He didn't want the cell phone to trace.
So apparently the pill he took the night before he left his apartment, the ADHD one, can cause hallucinations, paranoia, and anxiety when you're going through the withdrawal stages. So if he was taking this like heavily all the time, he could have been going through withdrawal at this point and was having hallucinations. But again, like, where did he go?
Did they find his medication?
He wasn't prescribed. He was not prescribed it.
That's right.
His roommate said he had taken it.
Well, did they find any? Because
In the car, I don't know.
What if that's what he took out of his bag? You know what I mean?
God. Yeah, it could be. Okay, the next one. Bryce left willingly. Bryce said he had wanted to talk to his parents about something but wouldn't say what. Gave away a bunch of his stuff.
True.
Could have spent all that time sitting in his car, like, contemplating, like, should I do this or should I not?
Yeah.
Or he could have been waiting for someone that was supposed to, like, pick him up, help him disappear. Like, here's your new ID, social security, passport, whatever. Like, maybe he was waiting for this person.
Right.
Purposely wrecked his car, but was still able to escape. But, like, how did he assume? Like, I feel like if you're driving off an embankment, like, you're going to take that risk that you're going to crack your skull, break your neck. Like,
right.
It wasn't like he just hit a tree, the side of his car. Like, he drove off a 25-foot embankment. I would assume I'm going to be seriously injured.
Or dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think he did that. The bloodhounds followed Bryce's scent to a truck stop. Then it disappeared. So maybe he hitched a ride and left town. It was said later on, it came out that his parents were actually very controlling. There were rumors that they picked the college for him. He wasn't allowed to even have a choice. They had access to all of his phone calls and texts and everything. So maybe he left his phone because he knew his parents were tracking everything.
If he was, like, meeting somebody to start a new life, why would he keep calling roadside assistance? Like, I feel like I wouldn't be calling them.
Maybe it was
if
someone.
I was waiting on someone, you know.
Maybe it was someone who worked for roadside assistance and he kept calling until he got the right person that was supposed to help him disappear.
So you guys seen Breaking Bad, right?
Yes.
All right. So when Pinkman is trying to get a new identity, he goes to the vacuum shop and visits the old man.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
So that's exactly what I'm thinking of. It's like he keeps visiting this or calling the tow truck company trying to get the certain person, which they're not answering. And then he just...
That's why he keeps calling until he gets the right person.
Yeah.
That's going to get him out of town. Could be.
I don't know.
One of the other theories, obvious one, is suicide. He was drinking and using drugs. Combining those two can lead to depression and all that stuff. So he left his wallet and his cell phone behind. Why would he need them if he was killing himself? He was giving his stuff away. Why would he need it if he knew he was going to kill himself?
Right, but a body would be found.
Right. That's the thing. Like, even if he did, he couldn't have hidden his own body.
Right. Unless that's just, like, pure luck, but I just
But,
doubt
like, what?
it. Yeah.
Where? Yeah. So the last theory is that he was met with foul play, which this is what his parents believe is what happened. So during the initial search for Bryce, when they found the car and, like, in those first couple days, they're searching and there was calls of a bushfire in the area. So police arrived and found a body on fire. It wasn't Bryce. It was a 35-year-old man named Lamondre Dion Miles. His body was found full of bullets, and it was later discovered that he was shot during a fight over some money he owed someone. His body was then dumped and set on fire. Did Bryce witness part of this? And then because he saw this person disposing of a body, this person then also killed Bryce? The remains were found... the remains that were found earlier, that, like, that I said, like, it looked like an older man, like, they were found in a burnt area. Those bodies were burnt. Like, were all these people, like, somehow tied into, like, this whole thing? There's another theory that he hitched a ride with a truck driver who ended up murdering him. Let's be real. I feel like I've heard a lot of stories about that.
Serial killers?
Yeah. Yep, hitchhiker, yeah.
That's what I was thinking earlier when you said he met at a truck stop. I'm like, well, anything could happen there.
Yeah.
It could be a truck driver because...
I mean, or the truck driver did drop him off somewhere and then he met with foul play there.
Right.
It came out later also that Bryce was known, obviously, to drink alcohol and take drugs. Even during his high school years, one of his best friends from high school claimed he was a druggie. So there's a theory that, like, maybe he was meeting with a drug dealer and he was waiting all this time because his drug dealer was being sketchy and that something went wrong in the exchange.
Oh. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense why he, like, drive that spot so many times.
Right.
Then.
And, like, why did you sit in one town for 13 hours? Doing nothing.
Like, I get if he was waiting for a drug dealer, but why is your drug dealer
13
that
hours?
far away?
Damn.
So that's all I have. But he's
Yeah,
never been found into this. I looked up today right
So-
before you guys came over for, like, any updates on it. There's nothing.
So, do we have Kim or Sean's last name? Because I think so. They might have done this thing, and they're dating now.
Ooh, oh no.
Oh, no.
Do you think they could get away with that?
I don't know. I think Kim is a little sketchy just because, like, if that was my
How
boyfriend
is-
had just broken up with me and, like, then all this shit happened, I would be, like, with his parents trying to find this body. And you said she doesn't really get brought up again.
But either do his parents. Like, nobody really gets brought up by name afterwards.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean, like.
I mean,
would-
maybe she was searching, though. We just.
Oh, you don't.
There's nothing that says she wasn't, but there's
Oh,
nothing saying
okay.
the parents were. You know what I mean? It just says people were
I don't
searching.
know. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Kim Sly. Oh, I said that in the beginning.
Ooh, Sly.
So, have you looked her up on Facebook?
Oh, I don't get on Facebook, so
You
no.
Look it up.
I'm trying to find Sean's last name.
I
Sean
don't-
Dixon and Kim Sly. So yeah, so what do you guys think happened?
I think that I don't think
Don't steal my theory.
I don't think that it was like he saw something he shouldn't have and all of that.
But do you think it was foul play?
When you first told me, I would like the first thing that came to my head was that somebody murdered him. But I don't think that he saw something he shouldn't. But then, like, when you kept telling the story, like, I think he just wasn't right in the head and the crash didn't help. And I think he, like, basically just, like, went off and
Disappeared.
doesn't know what he's doing. You know, like, I don't think he realizes what his past
Mhm.
life is or what even happened, that there was a car crash.
Could
you
you
know?
imagine? It's like that book we read.
Oh, Mr. Nobody. What do you
Mhm.
think, Emmerich?
So, I think so. Bryce and Kim were hooking up on the side.
You meant
They were
Sean and
dating.
Kim.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Sean and Kim were hooking up on the side. And then Sean started giving these pills to Bryce to get him all hallucinate or unstable.
So Kim would want to leave him, but
Yeah,
he left Kim.
because he didn't know what he was doing. So he wasn't in it. He wasn't fully
Mhm.
in his situation. And after that, or let me take that back. I want to say Sean liked Kim. Like, really, really liked Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew that he had to
Get rid
do
of Sean, or
something
Bryce.
to Bryce to get him to break up with Kim. And the only way that they would ever break up is if Bryce came out the picture, because they adored each other, right?
Right.
So,
What if
He's-
Sean would have just told Kim Bryce cheated on you, or vice versa?
but if I think so, they're just so well of a couple. I don't think so. It would
Yeah,
have been believable.
They would have worked through it or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been. I don't think so. It would have been
Oh.
believable. You know, like
She'd be like, "You're starting shit." Bryce wouldn't do that.
yeah. So I think so. Sean did all this, and then, it just went out of hand. He was just trying to make them break up, and
Shit
ended
escalated.
up escalating it for him to become missing. And he just played the best friend game, like, "Oh my God, I'm here for you," and
So where is the body though?
they don't know. But I want to know.
Sean has to know.
I want to know what happened to Sean and Kim. I'm thinking that they're together now, and got 3 kids,
3 kids. This was only a couple years ago.
triplets. This was 2013.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, so within 7 years, they could have had.
Oh shit,
3
you're
kids.
right. I guess I forget how fast time goes. Yeah, they could have.
What do you think happened, Kelly?
Part of me wants to say he just left, started a new life. But he has bright red hair. He's got blue eyes. Oh, he had this tattoo of his birthday in Roman numerals. It'd be very hard to, especially when people are looking for you. And with today's technology, it'd be very hard to disguise. You're not just a normal dark hair, brown eyed person. You got blue eyes and red hair and this tattoo. You're easily distinguishable.
Right.
So I think it'd be really hard to just disappear unless he left the country. I don't know, that or foul play, something. I don't know. I
So
don't
do you
it
think
was
he's still
suicide.
alive?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I feel like if he was that close with his parents, I don't know. I guess
But,
if they
like-
were that controlling and he wanted out, maybe he is still alive and he's just maybe he is still alive. Do you think he's still alive? No.
I think he might be. I'm kind of going with the theory that like he went off and I feel like if he would have lost a lot of blood or like known that he wouldn't have made it from that crash, they wouldn't have been able to tell with all of the amount of blood in that
But like
at the scene.
if he was injured and someone picked him up, they would have wanted to take him to a hospital where they then would have found out who he was.
All right.
Yeah,
Or even
that's
if they
true.
couldn't find out at the time, like eventually it would have came out like, oh my God, this guy's in the hospital. He has no idea who he is, but it matches the description of this Bryce kid.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially since it's local too.
Right,
Like
like-
within a couple of 100 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
most
not like he's in a
definitely.
different state anymore. Like he's in the same state. I think he started a new life.
I do too. I'm starting to think that too.
I think he met someone at that truck stop, and I don't know from there, but he gone.
He gone.
Mm-hmm. He gone. Oh no.
So that's all, folks.
Yes, that's all. That's the story of Bryce Laspisa. If we're saying it right.
Well, hopefully they get some type of closure for their son.
Yeah, that part does suck. I feel bad for the family, who has no
He
idea.
was a handsome young man.
I mean, he wasn't bad.
And thank you, Amrit, for being our
Yes.
guest.
Thank you for
Yes.
joining. Yes, yes. All right, until next time.
Until next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
I drank all mine.
I would have too, but I was
I
telling
did
the
too.
story, so it's hard to.